was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, the most wonderful time of the year is actually depressing as shit. Hi, I'm Christy, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you have been here before. This is a little bit of a different video from I've ever done before. This is, as you can probably see by the title, revolving around seasonal depression or seasonal affective disorder or winter blues or the fucking demon that lives in my brain. So seasonal depression, if you don't already know what it is, it's a depression that is seasonal. It's basically a mood disorder that is more common in the winter months when there's less sunshine, the days are shorter, it gets darker a lot earlier, and you just feel depressed as shit. This affects people who have regular depression. This affects people who aren't depressed any other time of the year. Mainly it happens in the winter months. It does happen sometimes in the summer months, but I think that's less common. For me, it's probably from about the end of October, beginning of November, right through to February, March. So that's always like a real great fucking time for me. So it does affect everyone differently. There is total varying degrees of this depression. So for some people the symptoms might be quite mild and they might just feel kind of lethargic and demotivated a little bit, but other than that they are more than capable of getting on with their everyday life. And some people it is extremely bad and they can't even like get out of bed, anything like that. I think mine probably lies somewhere in the middle, and it does vary from year to year when it's going to be worse. So last year for me, I don't actually remember being that bad, and funnily enough we were in lockdown, and I know like a lot of people found that like really tough, but for me I think the fact that I didn't need to go up and go to work actually helped my seasonal depression a lot. This year though, it's hitting real different this year, and I've heard a few people saying that online and in real life that like I have no words, okay? But I'm also not so severe that like I can't go on with my everyday life. It just pretty much feels like there is a little grey, rainy cloud hovering above me all the time. So my main symptoms are my mood being super low for no reason. Of course, depression, there doesn't have to be like a reason for it, but it's just like a constant state of meh. I feel really unmotivated to do anything. I feel so lethargic and so tired that I could just sleep all the time. Getting out of bed is honestly, it's like the most challenging thing in the world for me. But I'm really trying this year to be quite active in pushing back against the depression that I'm feeling. I'm not going to be able to cure it or get it away or anything like that, but I don't just want to be like a passenger while seasonal depression is in the driver's seat. I want to take some control and be able to look after myself to the best of my ability, because there definitely has been some years where I have just been like entirely consumed by it, but I'm really trying to not let that happen for me this year. This month has been pretty rough on me, but I don't want that to continue through the next 3 or 4 months, because fuck that. I want to point out that how everyone experiences this is entirely different. I can only speak from my point of view. I am not a doctor. I have no medical background whatsoever, not a psychologist. I'm just someone who has experienced seasonal depression for probably a long time, but I think when I realised it was seasonal depression was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, but I think I've probably struggled with it longer than that and just never knew that it was a thing. So I'm just giving some tips on what I am implementing into my life, things that help me That might not help you. I'm not an expert. Just take everything I say with a pinch of salt and just know that it is all meant for good advice, but not solid advice that will definitely work for you. That being said, my very first tip is to speak to a doctor or medical professional if you are suffering with seasonal depression or any mental health issue at all. I definitely think that is the most important tip, that if you can and it is accessible to you, that you go and speak to your doctor. If that's not accessible to you for any reason, then maybe you can speak to a friend that you trust, a parent, a teacher, a lecturer. And if you don't feel like you have anyone in your life that you can trust or that you can share any of this with, then there are some phone helplines and websites as well that you can contact. And they'll give you like anonymous advice. You don't have to tell them who you are. They won't pass your information on to anyone else either. And even that can just help to get your feelings out and talk to someone and not feel so alone. I really can't express enough how important I feel that is, and is definitely the most important thing to do. Number one, speak to a doctor. If you can't speak to a doctor, speak to someone you trust. And if you don't have anyone around you that you feel that you can speak to, you can contact one of these phone lines, or all three. Confide in a friend, tell a doctor, and phone one of these lines. Honestly, get as much help and support around you as you can. So the more support you have around you, the easier it will hopefully be for you. The holidays can be like a really isolating time, so finding support where you can, I think, is really, really important. Do speak to someone. They might be able to actually advise you on things that I'm obviously not able to advise you on. So would that be maybe talk therapy or medication or supplements that you could take? I've had experience with these things in the past. I've been through therapy, loved it, can't recommend it enough. I'm currently on antidepressants as well. Again, couldn't recommend them enough. They've entirely changed my life. Of course, those options aren't for everyone, and I'm in no place to advise anyone on what to do, but a doctor definitely is. Although I know, unfortunately, that's not accessible to absolutely everyone. But there are options out there. Like I said, I feel like I'm just repeating myself a million times. There is options out there. There's phone lines and websites that you can and should visit if you feel like you're struggling. Don't struggle alone. So with the festive season, that normally comes hand in hand with more alcohol consumption. If you are an alcohol drinker, my advice, who was she that just came out of my mouth, because that wasn't me. My advice would be that you lower down or cut out your alcohol consumption completely. Alcohol is a depressant and it can feel all well and good when you are drinking. For me, I feel great when I'm boozing. It's totally fine. I'm having a drink, I'm having a laugh, I'm having a good time. That next day, however, is absolutely not worth it. And when I'm struggling with seasonal depression, that next day is sometimes the next 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And if you're already in a low state, the alcohol is just going to bring you even lower. So last year I actually done dry January, and I think it was actually really good for my mental health. I thought I was going to struggle a lot more with it actually, because I do like a drink. I like to have a glass of wine a couple of times a week. But I think it was really good for me, and it really helped me beat those January blues that you get. So I'm definitely doing a complete dry January next year as well, but in the lead up to Christmas and stuff, I'm going to try and cut down my alcohol consumption. So the way I'm going to do this is, before I go to an event where I know there's going to be alcohol, I'm going to set myself a limit. For instance, I can be I'm going to have 2 glasses of wine, 3 glasses of wine, and then I am going to stop. Everybody's limit will be totally different. Some people might only have one glass of wine and that's like completely enough for them. You need to set a limit that you know is like enough for you and where you're not going to be feeling like absolute shit the next day. And if you don't have that, if you don't know that limit, then maybe cut it out altogether. I would also strongly advise against drinking alone round about the holidays, especially if you are feeling quite lonely and you are feeling really quite down. Like, again, like I says, I love like a nice glass of wine in front of the TV, but I wouldn't be like drinking on my own when I'm already in like a depressed state of mind. That's really not good for you. If you are going on a night out and you don't want to be limiting your drinks, like, oh, I'm only going to have 3 drinks and then that's me going to like stop for the rest of the night, you could always follow up every alcoholic drink with a non-alcoholic drink, or every second drink with a non-alcoholic drink, and just lessen it a little bit, and you actually might just start to notice like the effects of not feeling so rubbish the next day, or even like when you are drinking, if you just lower it just slightly. And there are some nice non-alcoholic drinks out there as well. Like, I do like a non-alcoholic beer from time to time, and that's what I was drinking throughout January. So like, it felt like I was drinking and it felt like a treat, but just without feeling like crap. If anyone tries to pressure you into drinking after you've already said no because, oh, come on, it's Christmas, tell them to fuck off and just know that they are a dickhead. Don't let anyone push you into drinking just because you should be drinking and you should be celebrating because it's the holidays, because really you shouldn't be doing anything. You should be doing what's best for you. And if someone doesn't take no for an answer, then that is their problem. I look like I'm in an 80s rock band. I don't know. Kind of like it. This next one is annoying, and I used to hate when people say this to me because it's so like generic and the first thing that people say to you, but it does actually help. If you get outside for even 5 minutes a day, preferably when the sun is out, that could really help you. I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear it less than me, trust me. But I do notice on days where I don't leave the house, I feel so much more miserable. And honestly, like, if I didn't have 2 dogs and like a job and shit to go to, like, I don't know how often I would leave the house in the winter months if I would just like go into hibernation mode. And I have done that in the past and it has not done me any favours at all. So even 5 minutes a day can really help. You don't even need to change out your pyjamas. You can pull joggies on, you can pull a jumper on top, put a face mask on so that you're invisible, and just go for a walk around the block, get some fresh air, clear your head, and it could make the world of a difference to you. That being said, if you are in like a very deep depression and you actually feel like you can't get outside, sit near an open window or something, just get the air and get as close to being outside as you can. Obviously, there might be some days where you actually just can't face going out. Do the next best thing for yourself. Light therapy. If you've ever googled anything about seasonal depression, you've probably heard about light therapy. Now, again, I'm not claiming to be an expert, and I definitely don't know the ins and outs of the science behind it. But what light therapy is, if you get a 10,000 lux, whatever that means, lamp and sit in front of it, experts normally claim to start at about 30 minutes a day. It can really lift and improve your mood. I will admit, I was really skeptical about this at first. I was like, what, so I'm just going to like sit in front of this lamp and then feel better? That's like the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But it actually does work. Well, for me anyway. I'm not going to say it actually does work, and I'm not going to say it's going to be like boom and you're like cured, depression gone. But for me, what I used to do is sit it on my dressing table, and pardon me. What I used to do is sit it on my dressing table, and when I was getting ready in the morning, I would just have it shining on my face for 30 minutes-ish, however long it took me to get ready, and the effects for me were pretty immediate. I would say like within a week I noticed my mood being really lifted. I felt like after I'd been sitting at my lamp, I felt really energised, just more ready and awake for my day. Like I said, getting out of bed is a real struggle for me, and I really struggle with feeling super lethargic and tired. So this kind of made me feel like, oh wow, like I feel like I actually have like a little bit of energy to like move on with my life today, you know, and not just like curl up in a ball in a bed. I just started using mine 2 days ago because I had left it at my mum's house and for some reason just never picked it up and brought it with me, even though I knew it would probably make me feel better, because it has done in previous years, made me feel better. Don't ask why I do these things, okay? We're not here to question me. Anyway, I started using it yesterday, and actually after using it only twice, I can already feel like I am feeling more awake, whereas even the previous days before that, it was like I had been sedated the entire day. It was not good. But little 30 minutes at my lamp and boom, my brain is tricked into thinking that there is sunshine in Scotland. What a dumb little brain. But I'm so happy that it thinks that. Yeah, that's basically how it works. It tricks your brain into thinking that you're getting natural sunlight, and that produces whatever the sunlight produces that makes you feel happy. My one I got is this little one here. I'll just unplug it. It's not cordless. This little one here, and you can either like hang it on a wall like that, or you can thingy it like a wee picture in front of you. So normally I just have it on my desk, and then you can choose between 10, 20, 30 or 60 minutes, and you can also adjust the brightness as well. I couldn't find this exact one on Amazon because it was a couple of years ago that I got it now, but I did see one similar to it, which I think is maybe like the upgraded version, which I'm sure is £40, and I think I paid about £40 for this as well. And if you do have the funds available to get it, I would suggest getting it. I think it makes a difference. Try some mindfulness practices. I know these people are so annoying who are like, oh my god, meditate, it'll change your life. But, oh my god, meditate, it will change your life. And meditation can be intimidating for people because I hear people saying all the time, I can't shut my brain off, I can't stop the thoughts, I can't sit quiet. And that's actually not what meditation or mindfulness is about. It can be just as simple as closing your eyes for 5 minutes and just being completely in the present moment. Like, I can feel my left palm is warm, listening to your breath. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. I often find that a guided meditation is really useful for me, and then it's just like someone just telling me what to do and I can just listen to them and do it. I particularly love a yoga nidra meditation. So again, that's the same kind of one where you literally just lie down with your eyes closed, and the yoga teacher will bring attention to different areas of your body. So she'll be like, think about your right pinky finger, your right ring finger, like that kind of way. And all you have to do is bring your attention to those areas as she tells you, and it really just grounds you in the moment. It's very grounding, very calming. I notice days where I do yoga nidra meditations, I do have a softer, gentler way about me, in the way of not being so highly strung. I do feel much more grounded. For this, I really like, there's a girl on YouTube and she's called Yoga with Elsa. I will link her down below. She's my favourite yoga nidra person on YouTube, but there is probably loads and loads of them that you can look up for free on YouTube as well. If meditation really just is not the one for you, there is loads of different ways that you can practice mindfulness. So that can include things like journaling, and again, that doesn't have to take up like a huge chunk of your day. That can be just as much as like sitting down for 3 to 5 minutes, starting the sentence with, today I feel, and then like fill it in. And that's just like a way of like checking in with yourself and really like bringing your attention to how you're actually feeling in the moment. And again, that doesn't have to be like anything profound that you write. It can be, today I feel okay, today I feel like shit. Like it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. Just the action of taking like a few minutes just to really get in touch with your thoughts and feelings without having to change them is really, really beneficial, in my opinion. What I've actually been doing lately, like over the last couple of months, I think, maybe for about 3 or 4 months, 2 or 3 months, some amount of months, I've been pulling a tarot card in the morning, looking at the tarot card and looking up the meaning of the tarot card as well. If I have time, I'll do a little bit of journaling about what that means in my life, how it's relevant to me, or if I don't have time for it, I'll just like think about that and kind of try and take the energy of that card into my day going forward. But again, that might not be for you. Really what I'm trying to say is mindfulness comes in many different forms. Again, another one that's always said, and it's really annoying to hear, is to get some physical movement, go and get some exercise. Listen, I know more than anyone, if you're so depressed that you're finding it hard to leave your bed, the last thing you want to do is get up and go to the gym, go for a run. Even if you know these things are going to make you feel better, sometimes you physically just cannot get up and do it, or you do not have the energy to do it. So by physical exercise, I am not meaning that you have to get up and do anything like crazy. Just a little bit of movement can help. That can be a really, really gentle, slow walk for 5 minutes. It can be some yoga. Listen, I love yoga, okay? I'm going to keep going on about it. It can change your life. But again, you don't even have to have a mat. You don't need to be bending about like a pretzel. You can do some basic yoga stretches in your bed. You don't even have to leave your bed. And there is actually YouTube videos for like yoga for bedtime, yoga in bed, like all of that. So like you can actually just take 5 minutes and move your body a little bit. That'll just help to move the energy around your body, release some endorphins, and you'll just be feeling less rigid, and it just makes you feel better, okay? The people that say that, they're right, unfortunately. I'm sorry, they're right. And that's the thing, some days you are going to be able to go up and you're going to like smash the gym, or you're going to go for a run, or you're going to get your 10,000 steps in. And some days you're going to be able to just do like a really gentle half-an-hour yoga. Some days you're going to be able to do a 5-minute stretch. Some days you're not going to be able to do any of that at all. And you know what? All of that's fine. But I do think if you just try and move a little bit, it could really help. All about finding your limit on any given day and what you need on that given day. Who on YouTube, who I really like for yoga, is Yoga with Adriene, the OG, fucking love her. Also love Yoga with Cassandra as well. She does a lot of yin yoga practices, which are really nice for if you are feeling really, really down actually. You don't move as much. Basically, you go into a pose and you hold that pose for around 3 to 5 minutes. She normally does it for, and she does ones that are paired with affirmations as well. Highly recommend her videos. Alternatively, I do have a yoga channel myself, just saying. Throughout the month of December, I am planning on doing some videos around this kind of theme of seasonal depression in general, videos to get you feeling kind of good again. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on. One thing that I struggle with in a really, really big way is my drop in productivity, and I feel a lot of guilt when I'm not doing something, even though I am able to offer people the, you know, you don't need to be always doing something to be important and to be worthy. You can just simply exist. Yeah, I feel like that is true for everyone else in the world, but not for myself. So I'm still working on that at the moment. But when I'm feeling like this, like my productivity is honestly just like, it's down the drain, and I really, really struggle with that. It's probably the Virgo in me, I'll be really honest. I like to have goals and to-do lists and aims and all of that shit, but in the winter it's near impossible for me. So what I've started to do, and this is just like a very new thing that I've started to do, is that I've set myself what I think is manageable, realistic goals that still push me a little bit, but they're not unrealistic. So for instance, if I'm like, I would love to work out and go to the gym 3 times a week. Is that realistic for me right now? No, it's not. Some weeks it might be, but not every week it's going to be like that. What I've decided to do now is to go, in the month of December, I will do a workout 10 times this month. And that can be any workout, an at-home workout, a run, go to the gym, any of that, 10 times this month. And instead of being like, I am going to post a YouTube video every week, I will set myself the goal of, I am going to post 2 YouTube videos this month. Things that are smaller, more manageable for me, that I actually think I'll hit these goals, so I'm not going to feel like shit for not hitting them and not doing the things that I've set out to do. But I'm also giving myself that freedom for the days where I am feeling really, really down as well. So that's why I'm kind of like choosing monthly goals rather than weekly goals, because one week I could be feeling okay and my energy might be kind of up and stuff, and I might be like super willing to do things and feeling quite enthusiastic, and the next week, that entire week could be a total write-off. So I think doing like monthly little goals gives me a lot more flexibility in my life. I do just really want to say though, you're under absolutely no obligation to be getting things done or hitting goals. Like, I mean, I guess if you're in a job and you have things that you need to get done, then you need to get them done. But you're not any less of a person for not achieving things. You don't always have to be achieving things. You don't always have to be pushing yourself to be the next best version of yourself. And this is something that I really, really struggle with, and I'm really trying to change that about myself, because I think that a lot of times your anxiety can come from the things that you're not doing, that you kind of miss all the things that you are doing, and you miss all of the good bits of life because you're too busy stressing about the shit that you're not getting done. So I'm really working on that. We'll see how it goes. Also, I think it was Samantha Ravendale here on YouTube that said that she really struggles with not doing things, but just sitting there stressing out and feeling guilty about not doing the thing. And honestly, I have never resonated with anything so much in my life. Like, I'll be sitting like, oh my god, like I really have like that thing that I need to do and I'm not doing it, and I would just literally sit there all day stressing about not doing it while simultaneously not just doing it. And then if I'd done it, then I'd stop being stressed. But sometimes if you're depressed as shit, like you can't do it. So it's really weird, by the way. If you've never had any kind of depression, first of all, what's that like? And second of all, it's going to be really hard to understand, like, just go up and do it if it bothers you that much. But sometimes you actually just can, okay? Yeah, so she was talking about how her therapist was like, either do it or don't do it, but don't stress over your decision. If you decide not to do it, then you're not doing it. And if you decide to do it, then just get it done, go and do it now. And I've been really trying to implement that into my life as well, and get rid of this horrible like guilty feeling around not getting things done. I'm trying to have more empathy towards myself and be like, okay, you're not doing this thing, that's fine, you're not able to do it right now. Okay, the end. No more stressing about it. Again, easier said than done. Like I said, getting out of bed is honestly so difficult for me, but I do unfortunately need to make money so that I can feed myself and feed my family. I know it seems unfair to me as well, but if I want to keep my job, I need to get up out of bed on at least some mornings. So if you're like me and you really struggle for getting out of bed, my advice is to not lie to yourself and pretend that in the morning you're going to channel that girl energy and you're going to get up and have a shower and have like a bowl of like granola and fruit and do yoga and meditate and journal and have like your morning matcha and all of that. Like, don't lie to yourself. You're not going to get any of that done in the morning. Who do you think you are? You have seasonal depression. None of that is going to happen for you. The first thing is to be real honest with yourself, okay? Be realistic in your expectations, otherwise you're just setting yourself up for failure. So I always have a shower at night time because I know that I'm not going to get up in the morning and have a shower. A lot of times I'm just going to leave myself 10-15 minutes like to get ready because I've snoozed my alarm that much because I have no energy to actually get up and move. So if you shower the night before, then it's already done. If you really struggle with getting out of bed, it's a good idea to leave your clothes that you need for that day just beside your bed so that you can actually just slip into them while you're still in bed. And you can also leave on beside your bed like some micellar water so that you can clean your face, like a moisturizer so that you can like freshen up a little bit, your hairbrush, so that like a good chunk of your morning routine is actually done from your bed. And I think this makes a really big difference because I think once all that stuff is done, you're actually way less likely just to crawl back into bed again. I mean, you might, but if you do all of that just to crawl back into bed again, at least you're looking after yourself and giving yourself some self-care. But I think if you can make as much of your morning routine accessible from your bed, then you're making your morning a little bit easier, especially on those days when you're like really struggling with low mood, you know, and low energy. And as well, if you get your little setup right, you can do this in the morning. You can have your little mood lamp at your face while you're doing it. You can even do like a little morning meditation from your bed as well. Like, you know, just make your life easy. Also, most days when I'm getting up early, like I'm probably not putting makeup on, especially if I'm going into work to wear a mask and a visor all day anyway. Like, I just don't have the ability to be doing that in the morning just to cover it all up anyway. And of course, you're under no obligation to be wearing makeup at all, but I am a makeup lover. I feel good when I wear makeup. It helps me feel confident. I like looking good. When I look good, I feel good. So on those mornings where I'm not wearing makeup, I like to have made myself look as fresh as I can look without makeup on. So for me, my eyebrows are pretty non-existent, so I try and make sure that they are tinted so that like when I don't have any makeup on, I have some structure to my face and I don't just look like one continuous egg, because like my eyelashes are pretty non-existent as well, so I do just look very bland. Like I have a very like bland appearance to me. So I always make sure my eyebrows are tinted. If I can be bothered, I'll get a lash lift. Normally I just do my own lash lift. I don't recommend doing that. I am a trained beauty therapist, that's why I do it on myself, but you can like go into a salon and have someone do it for you. Hello. And this just makes me feel more put together without putting in any real effort. Like I'll need to do like my eyebrows like every like 2 or 3 weeks. Lash lift lasts me about 6 weeks. So you need to put minimal effort in to be doing that kind of thing. But what makes you feel good is going to be entirely different. That could be like dyeing your hair like a fun colour, or getting like a really nice, really manageable haircut. a good skincare routine in place, maybe a little bit of fake tan, just stuff that you can do to take care of yourself, but is like not going to take effort to do every single day. Low maintenance, high reward. Housework. Honestly, at the best of times, this is a real hated task for me. I don't enjoy housework in the slightest. I really wish I did, but I'm just like, I'm on this earth for such a short amount of time. Why am I washing dishes and hoovering? Like, I wish I was one of those people that enjoyed it. But even though I don't enjoy it, obviously it still needs done, and no one's feeling any better when they are surrounded. What are you doing? And no one's feeling any better when they're surrounded in their own filth. So what I normally do is set a timer for how much cleaning I think I can manage on that day. So that might be 5 minutes some days, it might be 20 minutes other days, and I will just set that timer and just get shit done in that time, knowing that once that timer goes off, I can just stop. Normally, I actually end up carrying on a little bit longer because I'm like, oh man, well, I'm not going to stop like halfway through doing the dishes, or I'm not going to like hoover half a room. I have done that, but so I find that it just gets me moving, and you know, like when your physical space is tidy and looking clean, like you are going to feel a lot better, and even just getting up and being productive is also going to make you feel a little bit better, like you've ticked the box off, you've like achieved something that day. And if the thing that you've achieved that day is doing 5 minutes of housework, that's absolutely fine. That's going to make your area, your living space, a whole lot better. So you can be depressed in a nice clean environment as opposed to a dirty environment. I also would use this method with like studying as well, even scripting YouTube videos, anything like that I can set a timer for. I have like a really short attention span. I find it really hard to concentrate for long periods of time, and I often find that if I do things in like short bursts, I'm more likely to get it done. So what I would normally do would be like set a timer for 20 minutes, put my phone over the other side of the room and be like, okay, I'm going to do as much of this essay as I can in the next 20 minutes. And when that alarm goes off, I can let my brain get distracted. I can like let it get sucked into TikTok. I can like do whatever it is that I need to do until I'm either setting the next timer or that's it. I've got 20 minutes done and that's all I can do right now. But even when I know that I'm sitting down for like a couple of hours, like I'm not doing essays right now, but when I was doing essays, like I would be like, right, this essay needs done and I have a deadline for tomorrow, so I'm going to get it done, but I'm going to get it done in 20-minute segments. So I would do the 20 minutes, check my phone, fuck about, go and make a coffee, do another 20 minutes, and that would just really help me get it done. And it just seems so much more manageable because you're like, well, I can get through this 20 minutes. You know, you could also use this if you're like me when I am feeling like this. Messaging people back is a real problem, and I know that sounds like such a small thing because it takes like 10 seconds to send a text message. Listen, I don't know why my brain works like this. I just won't do it. I will literally be looking at a text message from someone and be like, just message them back. It'll take like 5 seconds. You've scrolled on TikTok for about 4 hours, but physically, I just can't. I don't know why it seems like such a huge effort to like communicate and be social when I'm feeling like this, but it verges on a point where my anxiety gets so bad because I'm like, yeah, you're actually just being rude now, like not messaging people back, and then I'll start feeling anxious about that. So you could even set a little timer for this, like I'm going to like take 5 minutes and I'm going to reply to everyone I need to reply to, and then that's me done, and then it's done and out of the way. Okay, like so you can apply this method to anything. And the final and maybe most important tip I have is to practice self-compassion. I can't express how important this is. I know that this time of year and when you're feeling like this can feel so sad in a way, because you're supposed to be happy at Christmas time, and it's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, and you're supposed to be having so much fun, and you're supposed to be excited. And when you're not feeling these things, and all you're seeing online with your friends and the media is people feeling all these feelings, and you're feeling rubbish, it can be really, really sad. So I would just say, practice self-compassion. It's literally not your fault that that's what the chemicals in your brain are doing at this moment, and that is what it boils down to, the chemical reaction in your brain. It's like, you can't say, well, what have you got depression for? Like, you wouldn't say to someone, well, what have you got to have fucking cancer about? Like, it is the same thing. Self-compassion, if you can't do certain tasks on certain days, that's fine. Love yourself anyway. If your mood is really low and you can't shake it off and you can't make yourself feel better, love yourself anyway. Honestly, like, it is the most important thing. Be really gentle with yourself. Give yourself the same advice and respect and kindness that you would be given to someone else, because you deserve that just as much as anybody does. And you know what? You deserve it from yourself more than anyone does. You're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life, or after your life, depending on your beliefs. So you know what? You better just start being kind to yourself, because I don't want to fucking spend forever with someone who's a total bitch. So, I'm not going to fucking let this fucking Christy bitch talk shit about me. Who do you think you are? Be nice to yourself. And if you do feel lonely, if you do feel isolated, I promise you're not alone. You're valid in your feelings of feeling lonely, but just know that there are thousands and thousands of people out there experiencing the same feelings that you're feeling, going through these same emotions, this tough time. You are not by any means alone, and please, please, please reach out to someone. I honestly can't say that enough, and how important that is. Down below I'm going to list some websites, organisations, phone numbers that you can look to for more information on seasonal affective disorder, and find someone to speak to. Really important that I've put some numbers and websites down there if you're having any kinds of suicidal thoughts or feelings as well. It is really very important that you do speak to someone. This world needs you in it, so just reach out and talk to someone, please. This is where I'm going to end the video. I hope that you have found it useful. If you have any tips that help you, please post them in the comment section. I'm sure they'll help me and maybe anyone else. And you know what, if you see someone comment, and why don't we do like a little random act of kindness, and we'll say something nice to someone in the comments, or go and say something nice to someone in real life, because you don't know who's struggling. So spread kindness. I feel like such a hippie. Merry Christmas.